Hey, we're still in the midst of the NFL preseason, but the start of the regular season just right around the corner, and there's so much to talk about in New York. I need the help of both sports anchors and experts there. So here with me today is Otis Livingston and Steve Overmyer. How's it going over there in New York, guys?
All is well today. Going great.
So we got to talk about the Jets, and we always talk about protecting the guy under center all the time. So important in the NFL to protect your starting QB. So let's start here with Otis. Do the Jets have the right guys to protect Sam Darnold?
Well, I think that's a big question. I mean, they seem to be a little thin up front. I mean, they reached into the retirement home to get Ryan Khalil out, who's a Pro Bowler. Very good. And so Joe Douglas, the new GM, who was also an offensive lineman. I think he's put a lot of emphasis on that. We had Kalichi Osimile. He was injured. Brian Winters was injured during this preseason. So this was the first time, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, that they had their starting five up front together. That's the first time in camp. They haven't played a game yet together, and they won't play this final game on Thursday against the Eagles. So we have to see how this thing is going to gel.
It is Darnold's sophomore season, and a lot of time the fresh QBs really make the ascension to the top during this second year. And you talked about chemistry on the offensive line, but I think what's really important too is especially for a QB and his receivers to have a lot of chemistry. But right now the Jets don't really seem to have a number one go-to receiver. So can this group of receivers get Darnold to the top this year?
You know, it's amazing. I think that everybody always wants a number one receiver. There aren't a whole lot of Antonio Bryants or A.J. Greens or Julio Joneses out there. Of course, every team would love a Mike Evans, but you can be successful when you have some good quality receivers. Robbie Anderson, Quincy Enunwa, after week 4. You'll have Chris Herndon coming back as well. Jamison Crowder is going to be a great slot guy. I would not be surprised if the Jets offense doesn't run through Crowder. The way that Adam Gase likes to run this ball is, again, a lot of crossing patterns, a lot of short throws, everything within 10 yards, and that's perfect for Crowder. So I think the idea of not having a number one receiver actually helped out Sam Darnold and allows him to read the defense better.
And let's not forget about Le'Veon Bell coming out of the backfield. He's going to be a valuable receiver if he's anything like he was prior to last season when he missed. But, you know, we're expecting him to have a big impact as far as the passing game. Ty Montgomery, former wide receiver, who comes out of the backfield. So Sam is going to have some weapons. Now, I agree with you. You don't have to have that number one guy. Have a core of guys that can get the job.
On the other side of the ball now, defense. You know, Steve, some people think that there's cause for concern in the secondary. Otis, Steve, what do you guys think is really the defensive key to success this season?
I think they definitely have some deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball. However, the offseason signing of C.J. Mosley, which, by the way, he got more than Le'Veon Bell and guaranteed money from the start. But this offseason signing of middle linebacker C.J. Mosley from the Ravens was probably the best signing, in my opinion, the best signing for this team. It certainly proved out that way because David Williamson got injured, and now C.J. Mosley is going to have reigns as field general and the man calling the plays for the defensive side of the ball.
There is a little bit of buzz, maybe a lot of buzz, going on for the Jets in the AFC this season. Some people think that this team could really surprise the division. So, Otis, do you think that the Jets have enough to be a playoff contender?
Pump the brakes. I think that they probably will go 3-3. I think they're going to sweep Miami, get swept by, and then split with the Buffalo Bills. That's where I'm looking right now. I think they're going to get about 7 wins. That's not going to be enough to get into the playoffs, but I think they'll be setting a nice base for the future.
I think that it could end up being a 9-win season. There are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, this is the now you have a quarterback with points on the board. Have an attacking style defense that will give up some big plays, but will also make some big plays as well. And you will be able to make up for that fact that maybe the biggest number here is the fact that the Jets have the 3rd easiest strength of schedule in the NFL. We know how close every team is in the NFL. It all comes down to the teams that you're facing for those 16 weeks out of the season.
I'm going to hold you guys to your record predictions here at the end of the season. Otis, you said 7, then Steve said 9 wins, 7. Right? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to make sure that those live up by the, you know, once we get around to January. I'll make sure that those stay on track. All right, well, thank you both so much for joining us today and for talking all things New York Jets. Hey, the Jets kick off their regular season at home Sunday, September 8th against the Buffalo Bills. Katie Johnston, CBSNewYork.com.